Alright, so after we're happy with our rock, it's time to export it to game engine. Let me go to File, Export Textures. Let's try Unity first. Okay, and in Unity here I'm gonna use the standard metallic AOA. The configuration here will be just the standard Unity 5 standard metallic, but I added in a new one called the AO. To do so, it's very easy. Just go create a new grayscale and change that to, you can copy the name here and then change the emission here to AO, and then drag the mixed AO as the grayscale. Okay, that way when you're exporting it, you will have one more texture for AO, which is pretty useful actually. The format is toggle, and that's to export. Okay, so that's my image. Let me drag those into Unity. I also need my model, which is this guy. Drag it in. Okay. Let me make it, give it some collision, and then have that map UV. And then I'm gonna go for the material here, a standard material. Let's call this rock material, and then drag the rock material to the rock, and then connect the and then it's in there. I think I can just do it here. Drag the texture to the albedo, and then the AO to occlusion. Okay, it's gonna enhance the lighting quality quite a bit. The reason for that is calculating real-time AO is too hard, so PBR material doesn't really do AO. So you have to actually have your own AO there. At least that's what's happening in Unity. Let's drag in the metallic. That's gonna be the smoothness. Doesn't actually change too much. And let's drag in the normal map too. Okay. And then the normal map is gonna destroy it dramatically. That's because this normal map is considered as a texture instead of a normal map. You want to change that and then apply. That will fix that. Okay. So that's how you import your model back to Unity. Apparently Unity's material is somehow pretty shiny. I think one of the reasons is because it doesn't actually capture the environment. That's just only the skybox. You can of course try to use the reflection probe to actually enhance it a little bit, but still the environment is quite simple. So I think I'm getting very similar result anyways. Oh, the model have to be also checked as static. That's true. Otherwise it will not be baked. Let's wait for the bake to finish to see the final result. Oh, and meanwhile, we can actually go back to Substance Spinner and do the UE4 Unreal Engine 4 version. So let's export it again. This time, let's use Unreal Engine 4 packed. Okay, I use 4K, the same format. It's better to give it a new folder. Rock UE4. Okay, and then export. So that's UE4 images. Let's also import those into Unreal Engine 4. Okay. And of course the model. Alright, let's save out. What Unreal Engine does is it's actually not treating those images as just normal image. It will convert it into its native language, which needs you to save it before you close. Let's drag it in here. Apparently it's too small. So let me make it 100 times bigger. and then let me save it, and then I need the material for it, of course. So okay, for the rock material, I'm gonna go drag in the 3 images. Oh, before I do that, this image have to check that it's no sRGB to make it behave properly. This one, this orange one, is the occlusion, roughness, and metallic. It actually represents 3 channels. That's why it's called Unreal Engine packed in Substance Painter. Base color is easy, normal is easy. This one, on the other hand, you have to use the red channel for ambient occlusion, green is for roughness, then blue is for metallic. Alright, and then apply. Okay, and then just drag our material to the rock. Okay, so that's the rock inside of Unreal Engine. And for Unreal Engine, if you want to have a proper collision, you can either import one, because right now if I play from here, right, it's colliding. Okay, it's okay, but the thing is, if you really want to see how the collision looks like, you can double click on the model, and then hopefully I can get closer. Okay, if you look at the collision here, you see that that's the collision. If that's okay, that's fine. If you don't want that, you can go to collision and then remove it, go collision and auto convex collision. Okay, and you can change the accuracy to make the accuracy bigger, and then apply. That will force it to regenerate a new collision for it. Okay, the higher the number here is, the better the collision will be. Okay, let's save that. Okay, and then let me play here. You see now this time the collision is more accurate. Okay, of course anything in Unreal Engine have to be baked. So the model here is static. That's cool. And then let me just Control Shift, and then semicolon to build it. So go back to take a look at the Unity version of it. Okay, I think in Unity it appears to be super shiny for some reason. I'm gonna go change that or fix that by go to the material and then maybe lower down the smoothness quite a bit to make it behave more or less like what it looks like in Substance Painter. Okay. Let me move the game here, and then I don't even have a character yet, so let me go import the character so we can play and then see how it looks like. Oh, it's already here actually. Standard assets, first person, prefab. Oh, I actually imported all my image, all my files here. First person controller. Okay, don't need that man camera anymore. I drag it there, and then let's go play it. Maximum on play, so you can see everything here. Cool. So this is actually looks pretty close to what we got from Substance Painter. Okay, the collision here will be using its original model. Let's compare this to Unreal Engine. F11, and then put it there. Okay. You see, both engines have fairly good performance on the graphic part. Okay. Personally, I think I like Unreal Engine slightly a little bit more. A little bit more. Somehow the filter or something, or the camera is somehow more no, feels it's more natural for me for some reason. They're using the same landscape texturing and everything is the same. Okay, so somehow it does feels like in Unity the material feels more like a old school Boolean kind of result, but in Unreal the reflection and stuff just feels more like a advanced material for some reason. I think that's fairly reasonable. That's because Unreal is built for AAA games. Unity is never focusing on that, but they're trying to push the graphic quality to this level too. So I think maybe in the not really far future, their graphic differentiation will be getting even smaller than this. Okay, so I wouldn't say you need to really switch to Unreal Engine if the graphic quality is, you don't like the graphic quality of Unity. Of course you can. So I think it's mostly depending on your model and texture, and they're all done outside of the engine. Okay, so it has nothing to do with the engine anyway. But I do recommend you to try out Unreal Engine though. Unreal Engine is a really nice engine. If you don't like coding, you can actually do all sorts of gameplay. Almost all the gameplay you can see without even writing one line of code in Unreal Engine, which is not possible in Unity. It's actually possible. There is a plugin. Unity always have those plugins, and then other people write code to achieve something, which is kind of interesting. Like when you need something, there will be people writing it already. But in Unreal Engine, you can just use Blueprint, which is, in my opinion, a quite nicely done feature. And it doesn't have much performance hit because it's literally just calling the C++ function underneath it. So, all right. And I think that's the entire workflow of creating a rock. Sculpting it from ZBrush, right? And then we do the topology and UV in ZBrush, and then we eventually bring them and then we bring them to Substance Spinner to do texturing, and eventually bring to Game Engine to actually do the final import and then the material creation. Which, if you look at the entire process, you will see that it's actually not that. It actually doesn't matter too much in the game engine. It's almost always outside of the game engine is where you spend most of the time doing those things. Okay. Yeah, there's something like graphic-wise. If you compare those two rock, I think I can make this rock bigger. Right? I was forced to pick something. But anyway, there's just a little thing, like if you look at the side of the rock here, that position where my player is blocking, you see that the reflection is really visible and supernatural here, but in Unity it's really hard to tell if there is reflection on the edge. Okay. So maybe it's something wrong with the metallic texture or something, but still, I just feels like there's still a difference graphical wise. All right, so that's for today's tutorial. I'll see you next time.